So when a line's in slope-intercept form, we're able to pick out the y-intercept, which is the constant, and then use the rate of change, which is that rise over run, to find a second point. Not all lines are written in standard form, though. Another normal way to write an equation of a line, one that you're going to see frequently, is what's called standard form, where my x and my y terms are on one side of the equation, and there's a constant on the other side. I can't just look at this and pick out the y-intercept or as a start value anymore. So I need to go and find the x-intercept, which is where the line crosses the x-axis, and the y-intercept, which is where the line crosses the y-axis, plot those 2 points, and then draw my line. As I explained in class, the x-intercept, when a line crosses the x-axis, it's not above or below the x-axis at all, which means the y value is 0, because I haven't moved up or down at all. If I put 0 in for y, what ends up actually happening is that 6 times 0 is 0, so we're going to put 0 in for y. 6 times 0 is 0. Negative 2x plus 0 becomes just negative 2x. So I get this equation, negative 2x equals negative 18. To solve that, since the x is connected to the negative 2 with multiplication, I would have to undo that by dividing by negative 2 on both sides, and I end up with x equals positive 9. So when I put 0 in for y, x is 9, which means my x-intercept, where it crosses the x-axis, is the point 9, 0. Something similar happens on the y-axis. On that vertical y-axis, I haven't moved to the left or to the right of it, so x is 0. When I put 0 in here, negative 2 times 0 is just 0, plus 6y is just 6y. So I get the equation 6y equals negative 18, solved by dividing both sides by 6 to isolate the y, and y is negative 3. So when I put 0 in for x, I get negative 3 for y. Don't forget to write these ordered pairs. They're part of the required work. So I need to get over to where x is positive 9. I only have 10 grid lines here, which means my y-axis either has to be right here on the edge, which is certainly okay, or it can be in one square, and I can still get to positive 9 going by ones. If it's possible to go by ones and fit your graph on, you'd have to do that. It's possible, so I have to do that. On the y-axis, I only have to get down as far as negative 3, so I just have to set my x-axis where I can make sure I can get down to negative 3 with no problems. Now, don't forget to put your scale in. I have to go all the way over to positive 9 on x. Notice these numbers are going directly on the grid lines. Because the origin is the point 0, 0, this first line to the right is where x is 1. So 9, 0. And then y is negative 3, so negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. The point 0, negative 3 is here. I have my scale in. Now I just have to draw my line through those 2 points. And that didn't go all as well as I wanted it to, so I'm going to have to reconfigure this just a little bit. Don't forget the arrows at the ends of your lines. That is the line negative 2x plus 6y equals negative 18. Remember the x-intercept, when you put y in for 0 in for y, this equation becomes 5x equals negative 40. So to solve that, I'm going to divide both sides by 5 to get x equals negative 8. So the point negative 8, 0 is my x-intercept. My y-intercept is when x is 0. Don't forget this negative, this minus sign in front of the 8y, because 0 minus 8y is negative 8y, which equals my negative 40. I'm going to divide by negative 8 to isolate the y, so y is positive 5. So when I put 0 in for x, I got positive 5 for y. Now my x-intercept, I have to get over here to the left to negative 8, so I need to put my y-axis pretty far to the right to make sure I can get to negative 8. My y has to be positive 5, so I'm going to put my x-axis down a little bit, make sure I can get to positive 5. So y has to go up to positive 5 again, labeling my scale as I go, making sure I'm putting those numbers directly on the grid lines and not on the axis itself. And then labeling on the grid lines all the way over to negative 8, which is kind of hard to do when you're writing, but all the way over here to negative 8. There's that point. Once you get those 2 points in place, draw your line through those 2 points, and you're done. Thank you.